Welcome to Andy Chats and Tarot. Welcome in. Hello. Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining me. Remember, not everything will resonate here with this collective message, but take what does and leave the rest. Take what helps you to help yourself and leave the rest. Thank you to all of you who have supported this channel. I really appreciate it. Let's get into this message. Here we go. Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. Somebody's trying to get your attention. I feel like a calling out for you. The sun is out here now. Your happiness resides in investing in yourself. That's across the board for all of us. A reminder to you, maybe the Magician. Be thinking about what is happiness. Yeah, what do you want to bring in? You're a master manifester, but I don't think you know this. We all have these capabilities, but I feel like this might be new territory for you. What else are we talking about here? I also feel like some of you are overly critical of self. Like you've worked very hard, for example, and you've done something incredible. You're making light of it, or somebody's saying, that's great, but can you do this, this, and this also? And you're not taking the time. I feel like Spirit's saying you're not taking the time to really appreciate how far you've come. And whoever's pushing you for more isn't taking that time either. So if that's just their general nature, learn how to nullify that in your mind as being so important, because they're also not appreciating how far you've come, okay? And maybe they think, Ace of Swords here, maybe they think they're motivating you by saying great and then moving on to the next thing. But really, I feel for a lot of you, it's just hurting your feelings because you're thinking, wow, it's taken so long to accomplish this. And now I just got a slight acknowledgement and it's, when are you going to do more? Okay, so it's something about nullifying that as being so important, that relationship or these comments coming from that relationship, because they're not taking in fully the hard work you've already put forth. Okay. And for some of you, they may not even be something that's in the equation for your happiness. So that's why you're being asked to invest more in self and what you think. You, for example, in this example, you're the one that's walked this trail. You know how hard it has been to achieve this one item that you were very proud and happy to share with a few others. And one person's saying, that's great, and when are you going to do something next? And that is the sentence. Like there's not even a pause or a few days or a celebration of what you've achieved, but it's right on to what more can you do? Very disheartening, yeah, to say the least. You got the Eight of Cups here in the reverse. But a detachment from that. There's no reason to be disheartened here. You're very proud of what you've achieved. You know the effort that's gone into this. So be thinking your own thoughts. Don't let other people's thoughts overlay what you're thinking or be more important. You know what it's taken. And maybe in some cases, that person couldn't have achieved what you have, that you're talking about in this moment. They're already moving on to the next thing, but they couldn't achieve what you've achieved at this moment. Something like that, yeah. It's definitely a freedom from that type of energy, if that's around you, and seeing that a little bit more clearly. That doesn't mean you have to not have a relationship with that person, or maybe it does. It's up to you. It just means not taking to heart so much what's being said. Because I feel like for many of you, you do want to stay in with this person. Maybe it's a family member. For some reason, you want to stay in with this person, Ace of Pentacles. But there's new for you. And also this example of sharing what's new for you and achieving something quite notable here is going to blossom into other things. Yeah, this has not been easy. This has been something that you have tried to achieve before without success. So you're really, really excited about what you've done here. So to make light of it is, just don't go there. You don't want to be thinking about it because there's nothing to make light of here. 7 of Wands. You don't need to defend this or be angry or say to this person or have the energy of, why aren't you ever for me? Or why don't you see this as more of the achievement that it is? Spirit's just saying, there's no need to defend this. If you're feeling in any way like you're in some sort of connection where you have to defend yourself a lot, rethink that. Does that ever lead to happiness? Rethink how you want that to work in your life. Rethink the boundaries that you want to have there. What else do we have here, Spirit, for collective? I feel like a lot of you are very spiritual, faith-based, strong there. 5 of Pentacles. Yeah, this information is very clear here in that whatever energy you're having to always defend yourself with against this type of thing is always going to be a series of lack, a feeling of lack, a feeling of letdown. This is just how this person is. And it's a matter of not changing them or thinking if you work harder, they're going to finally appreciate you. The energy in the cards is saying, recognize that this is always going to be a feeling of letdown, a feeling of lack, wherever you're wanting them to really be as enthused for you as you are. There'll always be a feeling of that's all there is here. Yeah. 5 of Wands. It does create definitely some inner turmoil here for you. 8 of Pentacles. But because you've achieved this phenomenal goal that you've tried before and haven't achieved, and now, you're checking it off the list, you can see the power within. So don't let anybody make it smaller, make it less than, you knew what it took to get to this point. So always be in your corner and be very supportive of yourself. And take that same energy and start thinking about your happiness, what that means to you, and what else you want to bring in here as a whole in your life. As a whole, WHOLE. As a whole, what you want to bring in. Take that energy and let it surround you. And as a whole, how do you want your life to look? Because you're very much in achievement mode right now. But it's new territory to invest in self here, yeah. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, I feel like Spirit's saying. Look at what you can accomplish. And also a very big message here of, and when you do accomplish something, spend time there and really, really appreciate it. And appreciate all the hard work that took to get to the here and now with it. Judgment. Yeah, you might have people that are very judgy in your energy, but Spirit's saying, take a look. Take a look at what they've achieved, because I think you'll find that this is the type of energy that will put a person down, but what do they have to show? Something like that. Make light of a goal they themselves couldn't achieve. Something like that. Also, this is place judgment on, again, knowing your happiness, where your happiness resides, and the relationships that mean that to you. This is also just letting it all out, and that doesn't mean confronting a person. In fact, not at all. It's more, let all this out. You don't have to carry this sense of loyalty to this person and there's no guilt in this either, I'm inclined to say. Just channeling this, it's more like a family member you feel guilty about always making sure that they feel happy or content, and yet it doesn't go both ways. And then when you speak up for yourself and say something of that nature, or are defending yourself, that defensive energy, then they kind of play the victim, like, why are you coming at me? I feel like they don't understand the dynamics here. They may not even be in tune to what they do. They're so quick to dismiss things, but maybe they do that as a whole in their lives. This is just an example, but it's for you to, let it all out. Follow those trails, follow those mental paths, and see if you can figure out why this person would act this way. Maybe they were treated this way. I think they're just not in tune as a whole. By and large, they're just not in tune. I mean, they're really kind of blinders on, focused on self a lot. So when they have to look up and say, hey, nice job, that's like, okay, I did my part. But you're sitting there saying, what, nice job? Like, let's really talk about this. Look at what I went through to get to this point, or to achieve this goal. It's just not their style. And it may not be their style, and that's it. Maybe that's what you conclude, or it could be some other things involved. But take a look, like, let all this out, let all these emotions out, so that it doesn't affect you quite so, as we've said, to heart. It doesn't hurt quite so much. You just kind of get some perspective there, so that the hurt isn't quite so deep with you expecting someone to react in a way they never do, or you hope they will. I don't see any kind of real big change there. And the comfort level you then feel about that. Page of Swords out here, yeah. The truth, your truth. Let it all come out. And I don't feel like the energy here is let it all come out and attack them or confront them. It's more let it all come out internally and figure this out for yourself, what your truth is. It's more of a solo journey here, I feel. What else do we have here, Spirit? I feel like also as you alchemize this energy, this is going to be an opportunity, excuse me, for you to have a lot of irons in the fire, in that you are really investing in self and knowing what that feels like, and knowing that it's your reaction to self and what you've achieved that's the most important, not doing it for anybody else. Yeah. A lot of irons in the fire, a lot of tentacles out there. This will spread into other areas in a positive, healthy way, very transformative way. Knight of Swords in the reverse, that slowed up energy. Take the time here. Take the time to work this through rather than, one more instance where you just don't see me or you don't appreciate me. No, it's more of a take the time here to see you appreciating you and what that means. And getting other irons in the fire here about what all you want to manifest. Because you've proven to yourself you can do it. So start investing in self. You can do the hard goal. You can make that happen. You can achieve what other people can't. Justice. But I also feel like it's not, it's not a competition, but note. There is something about noting the people who are criticizing that it's not that big of a deal. Would they have ever done it? Something like that. Yeah, there's justice here for you. Take the time to work through this mentally in your head. Why are you chasing after this approval? Is this something that, was something you have always done as a kid, for an example? And try and really look at that. Is that necessary to keep chasing that? Why did you chase it? Why chase it now? This type of thing. The tough questions. We're all about the tough questions here. Queen of Pentacles. Get grounded. Get grounded in your energy here. Putting your hope in others. Put your hope in self. Okay? Because that is a reaction and energy you can control. How you react to self. How you react to you accomplish this amazing goal. Four of Pentacles in the reverse. And everything else. Release. Release the need for it, release the importance of it, release. Easier said than done, but there is something about not being seen from a young age here and expecting this to be different. the message is more love self. That's the realization. Not so much this person realizes your worth and that's the importance to you. Maybe that happens, maybe that doesn't. But either way, you're secure in the knowing that you've recognized you. And you know what it took to achieve this particular goal. And you know what else you want to be going after because it somehow connects to your happiness, because there is an element here of getting clear on what happiness is to you. And it's not being forever disappointed by this person and the reaction, but seeing that in a way that is more realistic and not so important to you. Yeah. And boy, you're really going to shine after doing a lot of this work, because nothing's going to stand in your way of happiness. You know, it's not going to be, your happiness isn't going to be based on somebody else's reaction, thoughts, opinions. It's going to be based on exactly you. Okay, main part of this message. That's the transitioning feeling here, the change that takes place for you. Yeah. And then, like I said, once you come to these types of realizations, you'll see how other opportunities open up, and your tentacles are out there grabbing onto other opportunities, and it really blossoms from there. A lot of irons in the fire, throat chakra. Yeah, definitely your wishes being granted here. Yeah, you're a very emotional person. It doesn't jive with this person who maybe, if they were emotional, they grew up in a setting where they had to tap that down or eliminate it in full. But that doesn't mean you change. It's just recognizing these things. I'm very emotional. This person isn't. This person probably doesn't even realize that sentence alone has hurt me to the core. Something like that. Coming to these realizations, that's the judgment, letting everything come out in your mind, and work through those trails and work through a path that leads to happiness for you. I'm okay with this now. And here's why. I've done the homework. I've done the work. Yeah. Energy moves. Yeah, because then you know what to cut out. You won't. You'll get to a point where you won't be around this type of person by choice. Like let's say this is a family member, you still want to stay in contact with them, but you have your boundaries up. But you won't invite that energy in again because you'll be aware of it. Boundaries will go right up. You won't be repeating any kind of patterns here. Yeah, because you'll be very enlightened. Yeah. This is a long time coming. Don't worry about the timing of things. Never too old to go after your dreams. Yeah. Things just need to end in your mind here to be healthy, and take the time, rest if you need to get through some of this discombobulated energy dynamics here. Yeah, and also lean in on your spirit team. Let's grab an oracle. A little bit here about throat chakra. Like I feel like almost, I have to choke it out, or I'm being choked to not say it, something like that, This message isn't about confronting somebody, though, remember. I mean, you do what's right for you, but it doesn't encourage the confrontation. It encourages more of a mental journey that you take so that you can get very comfortable with where you are with this person in this dynamic. In the middle of the bridge. And this is also very key to what we're saying here, in that this talks about compromising, meeting someone halfway, that type of thing. I don't feel like, and remember, you're very protected too, getting a lot of messages coming in here. The balance. Find the balance. Maybe compromising to a point, because it's really about your happiness, but it's a balance. It's a seeing why this person acts the way they do and being okay with that, and in the knowledge that they're never going to respond just exactly how you would have liked. But you are responding just exactly how you would like, and that's going to be good enough, right? That's going to be more than enough when the grit becomes a pearl. Yeah, because out of the darkness, out of the shadow work, out of the loneliness, out of the heartbreak, you take a look at that information and you polish it up like the pearl, and you say, I take what I've been given here and I make the most of it. And it's never been going to be exactly the way I want, but other people that I choose to have in my life again, if this is a relationship that you don't want to let go of, and maybe it's been like family along for the ride for a long time, you won't bring in that energy. You'll maybe make peace with it, but you won't bring in new energy that's like that. Because you'll be very firm in your mind about that energy and where you want to go with that in the future. That is your message. It's very big. I love it though. I love the abundance here. There's a lot of good, message here to help. And I love those kind of deep messages, but also, entirely up to you. What you take, what you don't take, what's for you, what's not. Please do like, share, subscribe, comment. It helps the channel. Please do utilize the link below for Buy Me a Coffee. This lets me know that the energy and the time I've spent here has been worthwhile for you, and the energy and time you've spent here too. We've made a good connection. And until next time, let's remember who we are, and let's remember our self-worth. Thanks for joining me.